My name is Dr. James Taylor. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon. I work at LewisGale Medical Center in Salem, Virginia. I grew up in rural New Jersey, up northwest, up in the Appalachian Mountains, a town of 3,000. And so not far from the Appalachian Trail and some of the ski resorts. So Roanoke Valley reminds me a lot of home. I did my training. I went to college in New Jersey at Seton Hall University. Later on went to Des Moines University to Iowa. Came back to New Jersey, where I did a lot of my, finished up my medical school years in New York City and Philadelphia. From there, I went to Queens, New York, where I did my general surgery, 5 years of general surgery, and then went to DeBoer Heart Lung Center in New Jersey, where I did my cardiothoracic and vascular surgery. I wanted to be a doctor for as long as I can remember. I remember being 5 years old and practicing with doctor's kids. So it's hard for me to remember back then, but it was from as long as I can remember. I always wanted to be a doctor, help people, and that's just how I grew up. And so it's something my passion of what I've always wanted to do. I was able to really kind of put physics and math together and work with the beating heart. At the same time, it's a real critical field. In other words, it's the way that I could really feel that I was able to help patients the most. It was a very technical field, and it was deals a lot with critical care. I really felt that was the field I really wanted to go into. So it really kind of put my background with physics and math together with the surgery itself, but then it's really taking care of the patient after the surgery with the critical care as well. That really kind of I feel that cardiothoracic surgery is kind of set aside from some of the other specialties. I did 5 years of general surgery, but then I did 3 years of cardiothoracic and vascular surgery, so I did some vascular surgery as well. At DeBoer Heart Lung Center in New Jersey, I stayed on staff for 2 years after that. There was one day I turned and I said, if I have a good job offer, I think I'd really take a look at it. And it was about 4 hours later. One of my friends, I heard him on the phone next to me, and he said, and I heard him say, "No, I just took a job in Philadelphia." And he kind of looked at me and he went, "Were you serious about taking a job?" And I said, "Yeah, if I get it." He handed me the phone. It was a cardiac surgeon from Texas. I was looking to retire. I flew down 5 days later, and he offered me the job. I was down in Victoria, Texas, which is about an hour north of Corpus Christi and 2 hours south of Houston. One of the dreams I always had, I always wanted to have a cattle ranch. So we actually bought a really nice ranch. It was a nice piece of property. What was nice about it was it wasn't far from the hospital, but it was very isolated. All around it were some commercial cattle ranch operations. So we were kind of out by ourselves. I ran cattle, horses, we had goats, a pig, ducks. I mean, it was a giant petting zoo, and it was, but it was fun. We had a really, really good time. You'd go out onto the ranch and you have these range cubes, and it's almost like candy for the cattle. And so you just walk out there and you shake the bucket, and all the cattle will start coming over. We had goats, Barbados goats, and they had the horns that went around. It looks like the ram. We had ducks. I turned around. I said, well, we had a nice lake back there, and I said, well, I'll go ahead, and we went to Tractor Supply. I picked up a dozen little ducks, and they get big. I mean, there's a big, they were up to your almost up to your halfway up your thigh, and then the mallards came, so we're feeding them. So now we have 12 ducks, mallards, and then these geese came. And now we have geese. We have like a bird farm. We had a pig called Mushu, and he used to kind of roam around. They were really very smart. But he was very determined. He just, no matter what I did, he would get out of his pen. So our house was about a quarter mile off the road, so we'd come home, and so at the end of the driveway would be the dog and the pig. They come up, and so you see the kids playing ball in the backyard, and the pig would chase the ball. It was really interesting. And my tractors, that was one of my one of the things I loved to do was you'd have to go out and shred the fields, and it was just so relaxing. It was like meditation almost. It was just to get out there in the air and shred down the back pasture, and it's just like my zen. It was nice. What do I enjoy doing? It's after all the children's activities. I'm laughing because I feel like I'm a professional driver sometimes. One of my daughters, she was on a traveling soccer team, then she was on a traveling basketball team, then she was doing softball, then when she went to high school, she was the pitcher on the softball team, and so that is a lot of driving. And then my other daughter, she was on the USGA gymnastics team, and then now she's on the varsity cheerleading squad, and now my son, let me see, he's in basketball, baseball. A lot of it's just who's going to drive which of our children where, and a lot of it. But I actually enjoy that though. And so my daughter's cheerleading. I enjoy going to the basketball games and watching them. Some of the things I really enjoy doing is I used to love skiing. I love skiing, so I actually got my kids skiing one time. I remember a long time ago, I was actually a ski instructor. So, but I hadn't skied in like 25 years. It was like some giant length of time. And so, the skis aren't even the same anymore. I was really proud of myself that I actually got the kids, I taught them how to snowplow, and I was teaching them, so I got them on the lift, and they loved it. So we've gone skiing a few times. We love to go hiking. We do a lot of hiking. What I really like about Roanoke Valley is the family atmosphere. Remember, I do have 3 children. I have 2 teenage daughters and a 9-year-old son, and I have to think, a lot of our life revolves around them, and I thought, well, where do I want my kids to grow up, and it would be here.